Hello, and welcome from Five Stones Wellness Center. I'm talking to you from downtown Leesburg in Northern Virginia, and we are going live today with our first Facebook Live, which we're going to be doing the first and third Wednesdays of every month. So I'm going to be talking about a variety of things, perhaps what I'm reading, what I'm thinking about, what I'm working on. And as we start today, I'd love to know where people are. So if you could just write in and let us know where you're listening from, that would be wonderful. What I'm thinking about, what I'm working on. And while we're doing that, I'm going to start talking about something that those of you who know me know is near and dear to my heart, and that is mindfulness. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness really is the being totally present in a certain moment, a certain time, a certain place. Mindfulness is really focus and concentration, and it's something that has provided me with a wonderful and expansive way to live my life. So I really feel passionate about sharing it with people. So I see we have quite a few people checking in. Glad to know everybody's listening. And I'm curious if any of you listening actually have a mindfulness practice that you do already. So if you do, go ahead and comment in and let us know what that is too. So as I said, mindfulness is really being present in the present moment, this space, this moment, this time. And the wonderful thing about mindfulness is that you cannot be in two places at one time. So if you're totally focused on the present moment, you can't also be in the future and be worried and anxious about something that may or may not happen. The other thing that's true about mindfulness is that you can't really be in the past in worry and regret and replaying those conversations in your mind if you're totally focused on the present moment. So that's really what mindfulness is, and that's what it allows. And when I think about why we do mindfulness, I like to think that it just gives us another tool and another way to be in our lives. It certainly has provided that for me and really let me deal with some stress in a way that I think is, I know is a much healthier way to deal with stress. One of the things that I love in my life is to be outside in nature, to just be. And it's really interesting to me to realize how uncommon, how much time we do not make for ourselves just to be. Whether that's sitting by a stream or being in the woods or just sitting outside by a garden, these are things that give you the opportunity just to be still, to be quiet, and to notice. When I was thinking about this the other day, I was reminded of being a child and reading one of the Winnie the Pooh stories when Christopher Robin says to Winnie the Pooh, "I'm not going to do nothing anymore," because they don't let you do that when you grow up. And I thought that was a really sad commentary, but it's very true. We don't get to do nothing very often, and I wish that we could. Because it's when you do nothing, when you're just sitting, being present, being totally focused, that you can really get quiet, get calm, and notice. And then you might notice, just notice. And that's all part of being mindful. And it really is a beautiful thing once you can experience that and start to practice it. And I know for me that that's allowed me to create some space in my life that really is extremely helpful. We are all in our culture consumed with stress. Stress here, at least in Northern Virginia where we live, is extraordinary. I don't know anybody who's not dealing with an awful lot of stress in their lives, whether that's from their work, their family, their social situations, being overcommitted. And we end up, most of us, living in what I call sort of a soup of fight or flight. And a mindfulness practice is something that can really help mitigate the effects of that stress. And as I mentioned a moment ago, we all tend to really be over scheduled and overly busy. And another thing that has occurred to me recently is how this concept of busyness has become so all important to us. And I was struck recently in talking to a variety of different people. If you stop someone and say, "How are you?" how often do they say, "Fine, I'm really busy"? And I started to wonder when being busy became the currency of how well we are. And it seems to me that that's counterproductive to how perhaps we could be in our lives if we were truly more mindful, and that would offer a different way of being. It's not necessarily that being busy is in any of our best interests. So another really important thing for me in my life is to have taken the mindfulness and developed a practice of meditation. Meditation is one of the ways of being mindful. There are throughout history many, many different traditions of meditation. And I like to do a breath-centered meditation, a breath-focused meditation. It's something that has been extremely helpful for me in my life, and I've gotten to the point where I really miss it if I don't do it. So when you do a breath-focused meditation, you can really just start by taking a couple of mindful, purposeful breaths and noticing how that feels in your body, noticing what shift that might make in how you feel in your mood, in your physical body, in your mind. And you can do that anytime during the day and in any location. You can just stop and take a few deep, purposeful breaths. In fact, we can do that right now, and I'd encourage anybody to do it with me. Let's just take 3 purposeful, slow, deep breaths and just notice how you feel. So let's take 1, 2, 3. So that's all it took to do 3 deep, slow breaths. And I'd be curious, let us know what you experienced. What did you notice in just those few seconds of being completely mindful and using your breath to keep you focused in the present moment? Because that's really all it is. And once you've done that, you've started. And once you've started, from there you can start to develop a practice. That's really all it takes, is finding a way to weave that into your everyday life. You could set an alarm and set your phone, and every couple of hours in your workday, whatever you're doing, stop and take 2 or 3 slow, deep breaths and notice. What do you feel like? Does it help calm you down? We know physiologically what it does, but it's what it feels like to any given person that's important. And as I said, in my life, I've found that doing that can really help bring a balance and a calmness, maybe even a saneness to my life that I need. We all need it because we're all busy and doing many things, and it's a wonderful tool to just bring you home to the present moment. So today I really wanted to just spend a few minutes talking about mindfulness and introducing the concept of mindfulness and meditation, and would love to hear from people about how your attempts and your practices of bringing mindfulness and meditation into your life are going. And let us hear from you. We're really happy to have you join on today. If anyone has any questions, you could type them in. I'm seeing a few questions right here. Somebody noticed they weren't breathing much. Somebody else said deep breaths are like a miracle. And somebody asked me why I got into a mindfulness practice. And I would say that the simple answer is to deal with stress. and to find a balance in my life that I felt was missing. I knew it was missing in my life. And it's been absolutely the best tool that I've ever learned. Yeah, absolutely the best tool I've ever learned. Any other questions? I do meditations with others. Somebody asked about that. And at Five Stones, we have weekly group meditations here to which we would invite any and all of you to join us. We do group meditations on Tuesday at noon and on Wednesday evening. And it can be really powerful and actually easier to meditate in a group. There's something about the energy of the group that really helps. And it's easier to start a habit, to create a habit in the company and support of others. So we would encourage and invite all of you to join us Tuesdays or Wednesdays here at Five Stones to meditate with us. It's fun. It's fun. So in 2 weeks' time, when we do this next event, I'm going to be live from Ireland. I'm going to be on the west coast of Ireland, teaching a workshop with a couple of colleagues, and we will do our best to sign in from there, Wi-Fi dependent, but we're hoping that it will work. And I will see you then in 2 weeks from Ireland. Yeah, can we go with you? Absolutely. Join me. So thank you.